Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweights. Come good with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Real Streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul. A partner in slime, Mr. Jamie Dunn, Carolina Lightweights.
What's up?
What's happening?
Man, glad to be back. I know, right? If someone to stop getting sick. I tell you, man, we're feeling a lot better. We're back to normal now, and the doctor gave me an all thumbs up today. He was happy with everything, and we're back.
Appreciate you, Tommy. Tommy's a new YouTube channel member. Appreciate that, buddy. That'll help us pay for some of our shipping costs for giveaways. We give away a ton of stuff. It's expensive to ship. So appreciate that, Tommy boy.
Man, we got a lot of nice people, man, still coming in.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. We're going to talk fall transition tonight. So we're going to go through the ins and outs. It's time.
I tell you, man, I'm getting excited. I think I'm going to take off and go fishing this weekend myself.
I'm going to go hit the Trinity River. We're going to go try to catch us some dinosaurs.
Oh, man.
Jared Tuberville, JT. We're going to go take his jet boat, run probably, I don't know if we're going to run up or down, but we're going to go try to catch us some 7-footers.
Get that last one in of the year, brother, because it's getting ready to be go time.
Yeah, I was planning a trip, catfishing trip, but then he called and was like, "Hey, what do you think?" I said, "I you know what I'm thinking. When I hear from you, let's go chase some dinosaurs." So let's run through who's all's with us tonight. We got Fishing World 123 says hour early. Great topic. Fishing is on. It's not quite on here yet, but we're close. I noticed last Sunday our lake was trying to turn over early in the morning when it was cool. Midday it heated up, it stopped. So I don't know if it'll turn over with the weather we got forecast, but it's probably going to start mixing, which makes fishing not very good. We'll go into all that, why, how, when, where, all that. So Tommy Boy says, howdy, slime fam. Welcome in, Tommy. Jeff Martin says, howdy, slime family. Jeff is alive. My hometown boy, Jeff. Welcome in, buddy. Tar River Slime says, what's up, slime family? Getting closer to the big bait season. Weather is getting right. When I was planning my trip for the weekend, I was just going to go all big. That's like, the water temp's not there yet. Our water temp's still 82. We need the lake to turn over. When our lake turns over, that's when I switch to giant baits. And we're a ways from that, but I looked at the forecast. We don't have a 59-degree night for about 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, we'll finally have 50-degree nights. I don't know. Man, it's going to be a while for us. So Richard Green says, hello, slime lovers from Lake Livingston, Texas. Welcome in, Gadget. Realist Fishing says, what's up, gang? How are we doing? Doing great. Jamie's feeling healthy.
Yes, sir.
All good. Trent Hall says, let's get it, guys. I was going to try to get something with Trent, but then JT had called and said, hey, let's go hit the Trinity. So Maybe I can fish with Trent next weekend. We can get something planned. Creole Catfishing says, what's up, folks? Double horns. Creole's been on them on the Mississippi. He's been slaying giants.
I heard he's been on fire down there.
Been catching 70s, 80s, 50s, 60s. Lighting them up.
Yes, sir.
Eagle Eyes Juan Tienda says, what's up, brothers? Slime time, baby. Stephen Full says, hey, what you say? Slime boys, rocking and rolling. Fishing World 123 says, what's up, Slime fam? Dwayne Bullard, another one of my Texas boys, says, howdy, guys. He's a lake record holder. Lee Lloyd says, put some slime on our brains, brothers. My brain stays slimed. It's part of the problem. I can't shake it. Killer B hollered at him yesterday. He's getting him an ocean boat. Panga, 26-footer, something crazy.
Wow.
We're going to be going down to the coast in that sucker. He says it's got like a 6-inch draft. So I'm like, hell, we can take that gator gar fishing.
That's what I'm talking about.
He said, got the weights, Jamie. He'll be ordering more soon when he decides whether he likes the 2s or the 3s.
Good deal, brother. Appreciate you.
You're going to like the 2s, Bill. You'll switch to 3s in high wind. So, Solo Texas says, hello, Chris, Jamie, and everyone. Peace, fist, fishing. James, or no, that's not James. That's Jared. That's going to be my fishing partner this Sunday. He says he's ready. Big flexing arm, ready to get that back stretched out, Jared. We're going to have to freaking haul in some giants over the gunnels come Sunday, buddy. What do you got there, Jamie?
Oh, I saw a question where about using what the double hook rigs with the big floats. I got them right here. The 2.50 oval floats, brother, is a good one to use for those.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the old saltwater popping cork right there, bud.
That's it, man. I tell you what, these things have been like going like wildfire, man. But this is a good float for that double hook rig for a good size bait.
It's funny how much stuff we use from the coast now for catfishing, isn't it?
I tell you, bro,
everything we use now is from pretty much from saltwater.
Ourself and a lot of the guys local here with saltwater, man, we do a lot of ideas back and forth, man, and they're using some of our ideas. We're using a lot of their ideas, and they're liking some of the new weights that we're doing now. They're using down here off the coast now these new weights that we come out with the other day, and they're loving them. So our saltwater people had a lot of input, and man, we love it.
Jeff Martin says he was on Louisville Saturday, and it looked like the lake was trying to turn over or had begun. I was out there Sunday, Jeff, and I saw the same thing. From 23 feet up to 9 feet, I saw some turnover. And as the day heated up, it stopped. So I think it's going to be a slow mix. Just looking at the forecast, I think it's going to mix. Water temp was 82. We're a ways away from generally when the lake turns over, but we've had some cool mornings. It's been super hot before that, so that'll, when you have a big swing in temps like 15-degree swings, you'll have that. That'll start the turnover. Levi says, "What's cracking, CLW fam?"
What's up, buddy?
We're going to get it going. River bite is picking up, says Fishing World 123.
It's that, brother.
Decent ones this weekend on Santee River. 38 was the biggest. That'll work. We had a lake of glass. Fishing was brutally tough. I finally got them figured out. Had about a 2-hour span of catching before it got too hot. We were in 9 to 16 feet. Seemed to be the magic depth Saturday. Water temp 82. North end of the lake. Out on the flat. I found big fish up on a pretty shallow, close to a shallow sandy flat, which was kind of weird. And they were in there thick, but I didn't get a single bite from the big fish group.
Really? Wow.
It was a massive group, probably 25 acres of big fish, not a single bite.
Man.
I thought, man, I just hit the mother lode. I'm about to light them up. Didn't even get a nibble out of it.
Wow.
I found about 4 different groups, and finally the 4th group would bite. I had to haul ass to get them to bite. Nothing would bite going 0.5 to 0.3. I sped up to 0.6 to 0.7. I just started catching them.
We were just talking about that right before the week there, before I got sick. We were just talking about about speeds and stuff with the electric motor, how important that can be. Just, switch up and don't get used to the same thing, man.
Yeah, typically when they lay down in the mud, I slow down.
Yep.
But that didn't work. I slow down and I put my baits down close to the bottom. None of that worked. They wanted me to go a certain speed, and then they bit pretty good. I should have started doing that earlier. I just thought, man, they're here. I'm just going to creep through this group, stay on them as long as I can, and maybe, they'll come to it.
So they were actually after that reaction bite more that day. Then they wanted that bad boy bouncing
as it was going by. They didn't want it to get away.
Yep.
Ton of small bait there. A lot of a gazillion threadfin, bunch of 4 to 5 inch gizzard shad. There was plenty of bait there. I mean, that was the only place I found it. So,
man,
Creole says it's officially donkey season in Louisiana. Been on fire.
I tell you, them boys, I've heard a lot of stuff coming from that Louisiana, man.
Everybody's saying they want to move there, Creole. So get ready. You're about to have a bunch of new fishermen heading your way, I think.
If I ain't badly mistaken, I believe Epic was down there. I've seen a couple of videos where he was down and made a trip down there, going after some big fish down towards Louisiana and stuff. So a lot of people going that area this time of year.
Brian Henry says, Chris and Jamie, it's slime time, waving a big hand out to y'all.
That's it, brother.
Clarence says, Ohio's in the house.
Tom said,
caught the 38, first ever double hook rig. That rig's lethal, man.
It is.
We catch probably 95% of our big fish on that stinger rigged massive bait.
I tell you, Chris, I've really started using that hot and heavy a lot down in Santee. That rig.
I run both, but all of our big fish, I mean, damn near all of them come off of that rig.
Yep.
They pass up the single hook headpiece or smaller bait and go for that. Here in the winter, it's dramatic.
That's it.
As we get into big bait season, I'll have 6 of those out of 10 rigs because
just for sure. Yeah, for sure, man.
Bigger fish.
That's it. I mean, it's a hell of a rig, and if people are not using them, man, they ought to try them out because it's a hell of a rig for sure. I know Tom says 0.6, 0.7 was his magic speed all weekend too, and I saw some of his lives, man. He was catching some good fish. He really was.
So for guys that don't use a double hook rig, there's a reason why the double hook rig works. Guys think it's because on certain days fish like to short strike. That's not true. Giant, big fish, when they're eating a whole bait, they like to kill the bait before they eat it. So when you're saying it's a short strike, it's just a natural way that they bite a big bait. They bite that thing in half. They bite the back half of it and try to kill that thing before they're willing to eat it. And sometimes they'll crush that thing and just hold it in their mouth. And they may start swimming off. And if you've got a regular single hook rig with the big bait hanging off the back and they just crush the half of it and you crank down, you lose it. But if you've got a stinger rig in the tail of that son of a gun, you can catch those fish. Yep. It's for the injury bites. It's guys like, I hear so many people say, it's so if you catch if a smaller fish comes up, that's not what we catch. The smaller fish don't even mess with that giant. We do catch some, but typically when you're using a 10-inch bait, you don't catch many under 30 off of that, but you catch a ton over. And I think that, they just like certain size bait when they're looking to eat something. And I say specifically fish that are on ambush structure waiting to eat, waiting for something to swim by. They love that. They love that presentation. That's the key to my big fish success, is that big bait presentation for big fish on ambush structure that are lazy and laying there waiting.
Brad was asking
alive, but it was in ICU for a while with 97% blockage of pulmonary embolism. Damn, son, you're lucky to be alive.
Man, glad you're okay, brother.
Hopefully they can get you ironed out, put a stent in there, and give you some blood thinners. Chasing the Bite says, waving a hand from Lake Perry, Kansas. Welcome in. John Wayne says, what's up, boys?
What's up, John?
Yep, Tommy Boy says 0.6, 0.7 was the magic speed all weekend. Bledsoe says, I screwed it up. Where'd I go? Oh, same in West Virginia. Ready for Saturday night. Y'all are a little further along than us. It's still been hot here.
Chris Brad was asking, what's the most
Timberlake, Richland Chambers. Yeah, use the channels to find the fish. When you find the fish, find a tree where you can find an opening, cast into the opening. Fishing timber's fairly simple. It's just a matter of finding the fish. Go grind it out, get on that graph, start looking. When you start finding big marks, they're typically going to be a decent sized group of them together right now. When you see that, fish them. If you don't see it, keep moving. The deal is they move a lot right now. They're constantly on the move. They won't stay in one spot for long. Now, they may stay there while you're fishing in that spot, but they're probably not going to be there the next day. They may be in 6 feet one day. They may be in 23 feet the next. So, you're moving from 25 up to shallow water until you find them. And why? They move a lot right now. They're constantly on the move. They don't stay. They're not sedentary right now. They move. They keep moving. They won't be where you found them last week, and they'll be 3 miles from where you found them 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, they're definitely doing some
travel. Not be where they are in the morning. They might be in a completely different location by afternoon or by midday. So now, you can look for large masses of bait, and you'll find fish. Once you find that, look for the size of fish on your graph that you're wanting to target. And don't stop till you see what you like. That's all I could say, Don't stop just because you're seeing something. Stop when you see what you like. You're going to see more than one. There should be a decent amount of them on your screen. I say a decent amount while you're on when you're in an area, there should be 3, 5 good-sized fish on your screen in that area. And if you're in that area, you're going to see that those 5 fish will leave your screen and 5 more will be there. At any given time, you're going to have fish moving into that in and out of that area. So Creole says most folks are heading towards New Orleans and Venice, passing up the best areas.
Chris got a question for you. What would you recommend for the most cost-effective fish finder that y'all recommend for the buck? So what would you recommend?
If you're serious about catfishing, I would say at a very minimum you need a 10-inch screen. And the reason being is because pixelation. If you've got a certain amount of pixels on a screen, every time you go up in a size, it's a dramatic increase in pixels per centimeter or whatever. So seeing a small fish on a 10-inch, seeing a good sized fish on a 10-inch, it's going to be a lot bigger on a 12-inch. So I like the Humminbird Explorer. That's my new graph. Before that, I had a Helix. It did me really good. The Humminbird Explorer is crystal clear. It's really amazing how far the technology's come. That Humminbird Explorer, you can dial out every single bit of clutter in the water column. It's crazy how you can dial all of it out on your side image. Before, you would see, when you try to really get where your fish would pop, you would see particulates in the water when you crank up your sensitivity. You can dial all that out now. I think that's a cool feature. It's a lot. There's a lot more detail on those new graphs than there are from the Helix. I'd had it for 10 years. It did everything I needed it to do, but this new one is just way clearer. So I would get the Humminbird Explorer. I would recommend. You said cost effective. I don't know what your fishing's gotten expensive. To me, I wouldn't get anything less than a 12-inch screen, but that's an expensive toy. But I'm out on the water constantly on it, any graph I've bought, I've kept it for 10 years. So you're going to be looking at this damn thing for 10 years every weekend, or some people fish a lot more than I do. I would say whatever size you think, save a little longer and go the size up. You're never going to say, man, I wish I had a smaller graph. And the size of the graph, it does make a huge difference. Every time you go up in the size makes a dramatic difference. I'm a big side image guy. I use side image to not just find my fish, but to see how they're orienting to the structure, to see which direction they're lining up on how I want to present my baits, to determine the size of the fish, because you don't see much on 2D. No. Unless you're in deep water. In water deeper than about 45 feet, you got to use 2D. It's got a dual spectrum 2D as well, which it's crazy how badass that new sonar is. So I would recommend the Humminbird Explorer. I've had mine for about 6 weeks, and it's top notch. Unbelievable graph.
Yep, that's for sure. I saw where there was had a question. There's some people heading up to the King of the James here in a couple weeks, talking about the dragon weights. And guys, if you are not aware, I just want to throw this out there. Of the new ones, we've had a lot of people order a bunch of them that's heading to that. We now have the compacts. This one right here is a 5-ounce. Right here, it's a lot shorter with a rubber coating finish on the bottom to compare to our other style river weights right here.
So the one on you're right. It's our left. The one on
yep,
your left, the shorty, I would say that's for anchoring.
that's it. So a lot of guys that's heading up had questions about this, and I saw in comment people heading up there. These right here, guys, I recommend highly for the anchor, more for anchor fishing than I do the dragging. If you're going to be dragging up there, we still have the river weights, the regular design for that works, the same as all the other weights. But for the anchor guys, we do now offer these for y'all guys right here.
I'm gonna have to get some of those for gator gar in the summer.
Yep, and these right here, we got the 4-ounce. Right now, we got them all the way up to a 10-ounce, and we're working on a lot more stuff, guys. So just want to throw that out there. I saw a while ago it passed by. I just wanted to answer that real fast for you guys.
Brent says he's tied up a few stinger rigs this evening. He's chomping at the bit like me. Jeff says 0.6, 0.7 here too. Nothing at all. Slower the last 3 nights out.
Yep.
Yeah, they're having that reaction bite. You can't get a reaction out of them when you're going like this. It's got to be a certain speed where they're like, oh, look, here it comes. There it goes. I better go grab it. It's like a cat.
Yep. That's it. Fishing World 123, Jamie question: if you are fishing a fallen tree log jam on the river, do you usually tie on it or anchor in front of it? What works best? I'll tell you what I do, man. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass by that thing 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna check, see where the fish are laying, then I'm gonna make my decision. Normally, 65% of the time, I am anchored in front of it. Now, if the fish is holding tight to the center of that thing, I am going to get right on it and do a drop straight down into the timber. And if the fish look like they're not quite up to the timber, they're laying more on the backside, I will eventually tie up to the backside and also drop straight down on them also. Because they're going to normally hold just in front of that timber, inside that timber, or right directly behind that timber. So it all depends on where I'm finding the fish at, but 65% of the time, I'm anchoring in front of the timber.
Chris Garcia says, where you been fishing? I've been fishing my home lake, Louisville. It sucks. It doesn't have a ton of big fish. We catch big fish out of it. I won't say it doesn't have big fish, but it doesn't have – there's just not a lot of them. So we've been catching 20s and 30s every trip. So that's why I said I did my home lake I hadn't fished my home lake in 2 years. I fished it 3 weeks in a row, and I've had enough of these 20s and 30s. I'm moving. I'm changing lakes. Luckily, JT called and was like, hey, let's go. You want to go gator gar fishing? I'm like, hell yeah, boy. All right. Tub and Tackle says, Tub and Tackle watching. Welcome in, Tub. Tub's over there mixing that mud. Actually, he's got guys up on the drum. He's mixing it like this.
I tell you what, man, that boy's got it going on. He's got some nice equipment. He's really taking off with it.
I told him on his post where one of his drivers was up there mixing on the drum. I said, man, y'all sure mix it different than we do in Texas.
That's it. That's it.
Mark Nadal says, yo, what's up, fellas? You should do another live demo on your stinger rig so I can take some notes. I've got some YouTube videos on that rig. I do make it different. My rigs change slightly each year. So over a 3 or 4 year span, they are different. I'm constantly trying to improve them. I did some different things on my stinger this last year. So I'll put one together for you, Mark. I showed one off fairly recently. I've been hiding one little thing I've been doing to it because it makes certain people mad, but I'll show it to you. Good evening from North Texas. Welcome in, David. Welcome in, buddy. Chase Godfrey says, heading to, oh, you already got Chase.
Yeah.
The King of the James.
Yep.
He's putting in an order tonight. Creole Catfishing, our slower bumping presentations have been paying off. Give the monsters a few more seconds to hit the bait.
Chase, I saw you just asked if you order the weights tonight, will they be there before the 15th? Brother, if you order tonight, they will ship out tomorrow. So you should get them way before, what's the day? Yeah, you should have them way before the 15th, brother. No problem.
You'll have them in 2 or 3 days, most likely.
Yeah, normally our stuff normally gets there pretty quick, man.
Trinity says he's getting ready for tournament Saturday. Going to be throwing big baits here. Hogtober, baby. Good luck, buddy. I'm going to be trying to catch me a 7 or 8 foot river monster. Get me a try to get a 300 pounder.
So many questions, so many people jumping in.
Moving on down.
Trying to keep up with everybody, guys. Give us a minute. We're catching up. I promise you.
Bledsoe says he stays constant at 0.5, steady the whole time. Always have. Well, I tell Justin, all our guys, if you're going to change, if something's not dialed in and working perfect, the easiest thing to change your presentation is speed. That's very easy to change. You just move up and down in 0.1 increments. And when you do, you'd be surprised. If one speed's going to work better than the other, you're going to know it really quick. And I mean, when I say quick, it's usually almost instantly. And sometimes it's generally not more than about 10 minutes. And if you get a bite after changing speed almost instantly up to about 10 minutes, you know that's probably a better speed.
Yep.
So then just stay at it. See what that does. And you might even bump it up 1 more tenth of a mile per hour. And just speed is an easy way to play with presentation if they're not doing what you think or what you're happy, if they're not doing what you want them to do. I change speed constantly all year. And guys say, oh, temperature wise, it's this and that. It's not. Trust me. Temperature. When guys say, oh, the hotter the water, the faster you go, that is not the case. I promise you. I learned from guys that are way better than me that speed changes from day to day. And one day they might want it 0.3, and the very next day they might want it 0.7, and it might be 40-degree water temperature. I have gone 0.9 and 40-degree water temps and hammered them. I would have never done that before. So speed is an easy thing to change. Presentation is key, and they typically want things a certain way that day. If you can figure out exactly what they're wanting, you will smoke anybody else that's around you. It won't even be close. Get that that speed dialed in first. That speed is easy to change. Jimmy Floyd says hello from Amarillo.
There's our man Jimmy.
Custom knife from my boy Jimmy soon. We'll be giving that away to one of our slime family.
I'm going to get in touch with Jimmy and get me a couple of those ordered up to put on the boat myself. Those things look good, man.
Lake Lavon, December, fire. November's pretty good too. I got a good little pattern I figured out last year for early November. I've been doing this my whole life. I found a new pattern. It's crazy. You never be afraid to try new things. Something's not working. The deal that I learned that day is because everything that I had learned in the past, none of that crap was working. And I thought, I'm going to go look where I would never go look.
No.
And that's where they were, the deepest part of the lake.
That's it.
I'm going to try it again this year and see how it works. It's usually right before, it's right after the lake turns over. The crappie do something weird on that lake.
That's it. Yes, I do have plans. I saw you were asking about am I fishing plans on this fall. Yes, matter of fact, I said I was going to back away, but I did line up a couple tournaments. One's down on Santee Cooper. Friend of mine reeled me in on that one, and had another call today wanting us to show up to a big PD tournament. So we're going to bring a couple of items to give away at that tournament. So we are locked in for, I believe it's November 1st on the big PD. So we'll see everybody at those two tournaments coming up very soon.
Tommy Boy says he's making do with the Garmin Striker 9. You can make do with whatever. Hell, I caught fish. I've been catching fish for 30-something years. And trust me, I did pretty good when I didn't have all this technology. But it does make a difference. I will say that.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. But to be able to use it to your advantage, you need a base knowledge from all the previous stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a big learning curve coming into one of these new units. There's a lot of freaking things on those. I've been playing with mine now for 6 weeks. I feel like I finally got it dialed in. The last 2 trips, it's really dialed in.
Nice.
I have to tune it differently than my previous graphs. They just
now, Chris, I know you've matched both of the graphs against each other, man. And how do you feel? I know you said as far as the pixel and stuff like that. How do you feel that it has really up in your game with this?
I've noticed that on this new graph, the Explorer 12, that the mega side image has dramatically improved over the mega high frequency of the Helix.
Yeah.
So the new transducer and it's got 5 processors in this new unit instead of 1. It's got 5. It is insanely better on the picture.
Nice.
And I can freaking dial in that mega, whereas before, and I can dial it in from 17 feet up to 1 foot, and before the mega, I had to be in about 8 foot or less to use the mega. And after that, it got real grainy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I've noticed this new one, the software in them's insane. It's just a much higher piece of technology. And then I can see a crisp, clear picture with the mega now up to about 17 feet. So that's completely different than the other one.
Well, I know there's going to be a lot of questions, man, and people say, finding out how to use the graphs. Do you need a college degree to work that graph? What are you finding out?
It is kind of like trying to learn Swahili. If you've never used one, it's like learning a new language. I will say this. Straight out of the box, they work pretty damn good. And, YouTube now will give you a base setting. You can go on YouTube and find guys that are really good at the graph. They'll give you a base setting that works good on their water. You put the base settings in there, and then while you're on the water, in your water, in the areas that you're fishing, dial it in on your fish, because you need to dial it in on your fish in the area you're fishing. And it's when you do that, they're pretty easy to dial in.
Yeah.
It's not a set it and forget. None of them are still set it and forget it. You have to, if you change areas of the lake, you're going to have to make adjustments. I've found some new things on this one that are better than the last. It is able to filter out particulates in the water 100%. You don't see any clutter on this new graph. None.
I love that.
Crazy. And you can dial out like micro shad where you're not even seeing them, which I kind of like that. You can dial all that kind of crap out of there.
Nice.
Just looking at, looks like clutter on your screen. You can get all that off of there where you're just looking at fish.
Yeah. I got a question from James. Do you have your graphs on a dedicated battery and not on your cranking battery? I know myself, I have my graphs on its own battery. I do not have it on my cranking battery. I have it on its own battery. Chris, how you got yours?
Same. Because I've ran those graphs all day and I've drained my cranking battery.
There you go. And that's another thing. When you start taking the juice out of them batteries, man, I found out the hard way. I found out, man, that alarm goes off on my graph. I find out it doesn't work as well on low voltage.
Low voltage doesn't work. It'll keep shutting off.
That's it.
It won't work properly. Timothy Langley says, "What's up, guys? Here taking notes. Welcome in, buddy boy." Buddy? Rusty Duncan says, "Hey guys." Wesley Grubbs III says, "What's up? How is everyone? We all good." Jesus Venezuela says, "What's your take on Zane Stith?" We love Zane. We had him on the show. He's a good dude. Passionate about fishing. He's seems like he's focused on fishing. I like it. I respect him. He's a good dude. One of my teammates, Elite 13. So DRB Fishing says, "What's up, guys?" Danimals Creations. Dan is back in the house.
What's up, Dan? What's the tournament on Santee, brother? Let me get with you. It is out of Canal Lakes on Santee Cooper. I want to say the 11th, but let me get back with you on that. I will let everybody know.
Ted Ellenbecker says, "Hey, gents, welcome in, Ted." Corey Whaley says, "What's good?" It's all good. Tommy Boy says he's going to try more stingers if you ever get out this 380 traffic. All right, I'm going to try to catch up, boys. Tubb says thank you. I am way behind. Imagine that.
There you go.
Cody Robbins.
I see we had a lot coming in. I was trying to keep up with everybody while you were talking there.
Cody, I'm heading to the mighty Trinity River. We're going to Central Texas Sunday. I'm going to be fishing on JT Tuberville's jet boat. We're going to be trying to target some 7-foot river monsters. Hopefully we can get one over 200 pounds in the boat. I'd like to see Jackson catch another giant before Blue Cat season really kicks off here. Corey says he's listening to the Slime Show driving home. Good way to end a long day.
Good deal. Appreciate you, buddy, being here.
Wayne Smith's in the house says, Jesus Venezuela, I lost service at the fish finder screen size. What's my take on what, brother? He asked what our take on you is. You know, I got my teammates back always. I'm gonna always stand up for my guys.
Richard, I actually do have one of those switches that I can switch from one battery to another one. I do love that, man. I do love it. They are highly recommended if no one has, where you can switch to all, one, or two on your batteries.
Creole says you can find fish with any sonar. I would agree. The difference is the better the higher technology sonar you have, the easier it is to determine species, exact size. I can tell you the size of the fish within about 3 pounds, maybe 4, when I'm looking at a fish on side image. You can't do that with a smaller screen. I like to be able to determine, are these fish worth fishing? I don't like to say, oh, there's fish here, I'm going to fish it. I want to know exactly what I'm looking at. To me, that's going to cut down on looking time. I like to know exactly what I'm fishing. The better, the bigger the screen, the newer the graph, the easier it's going to be to determine fish size, how they're orienting, what they're doing on that structure, and species. You can get on a 9-inch screen, you can get confused. Because I've gone with a ton of guys and they're like, what am I looking at here? I'm like, well, if we had my graph, I'd tell you, but I don't know on your little 9-inch graph because we're looking at specs.
Yeah.
We're looking at little dashes. On mine, I can see exactly what it is. And I can tell by how bright or how dim, and you don't have that type of sensitivity. For one, most graphs, a 9-inch on the same model as the 12 has a different transducer. And guys are like, how come mine looks so much different? I'm like, you're not. Yeah, it's a 9, same model as mine, but it's
a transducer.
Yep.
And that's different. That's where you're noticing a lot of these used to be short transducers, long I mean, that means a world of difference, man.
It does.
It really does.
It does.
Timothy, yeah, okay. So I'll be at the one on the canal on the 11th, guys. Not at PAX on the 11th. There is 2 tournaments, but I'll be at the canal one, not the PAX one. Thank you for that, brother. Chris Wheeler said, I'm in Arizona going flathead fishing. Wish me luck. Good luck, brother.
My guy buddy Trent Hall says, if you have never used one of these new graphs, birds are so much easier to adjust. I'll agree. This bird I got now is an amazing piece of technology. I thought my last one was pretty good. And my buddy that owns the shop that sells them has always tried to get me to upgrade to a Gen 3, a Gen 4, get a Solix. And I would go look at them, and I'm like, the Solix was nice, but I didn't like the interface as much. But this new one is super fast. When you touch a button, it freaking changes the screen. There's no that 5 processor system that they've got. It's instant. And everything's so clear. It's an amazing piece of technology. That's all I got to say. The Explorer 12 is top notch. You will not be disappointed. I've not seen anyone, and I have a lot of guys that are really good anglers that come fish on my boat, and they're like, "My God, I'm switching to Humminbird because this thing's crazy."
Hey, Chris, I want to make this too, man. A lot of people, when they're mounting those transducers, be careful on how you mounting these transducers, guys. I've seen a lot of people mess up, man, how they're positioning these things and stuff. So really, guys, watch a video or get.
But here's the deal: every boat's different, and they tell you to not put, like Humminbird will tell you, don't put it on the strake. Well, so I mounted mine away from the strake, and they're like, put it on a flat spot. I put mine on a flat spot. I don't get a very good picture. I put a long strip of marine board on the back of mine so I can move that thing around. Yeah. I put it right on the straight. That thing's clear as a bell.
Man.
So what do they?
That's it.
And my buddy's like, man, you can't go off of. Every boat's different, and wherever that turbulence is coming off, move it away from that. So if you got some clean water behind that thing, that's where you're going to want to put it.
And that's what I was.
That straight is pretty clean, and it's.
And that's what I was. That's what I was heading to, man. You know, I know there's a lot of videos on how to mount them in different positions, but like you said, the most important thing is every boat's different. The bottoms are different on these things. Look at how they travel in the position of these things, especially around the motor and all that, man. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because that motor causes a lot of interference that people don't realize too.
It does, and if you got it up too high and there's a lower part of your boat, that messes it up. On some boats,
that's it.
You got to get it down. There's
and that's just like mine. When I get to where I'm going, I'll take my motor and lift it up to a certain position. That way, you can completely see around everything, man.
Jamie, do you like using cut bait on the bottom, or do you prefer a float?
I prefer a float. I prefer a float, brother. I really do, man. Using a float has helped me out.
Hey. Welcome in, Santa. Chris Wheeler says, in Arizona, going flathead fishing. Wish me luck. Good luck, buddy. Perco switch system. 2 batteries is a must, says Richard Green.
Yep. That's what we were talking about the switch a while ago, Chris. That I love that switch I have on my boat for all that.
You been eating spaghetti?
Let's see, guys, going through.
Say hello.
What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? Boy, I tell you what, he's getting tall now.
Man, he's a giant.
I'm stronger than him.
Oh, I can guarantee you are.
I measured him about a month ago, and he was a half inch from 5 foot tall. I measured him 3 weeks later, and he was 5 foot. He grew a half inch in 3 weeks.
I tell you what, that boy's eating his Wheaties, man.
He wears a size 9 shoe.
Close the fish.
What are you doing? You're gonna mess up our deal.
I know, I'm trying to.
Size 9. Wow.
Get out of here, dude. He said he's trying to mess up my screen.
Let me see right here. During the fall, should I be targeting trophy flatheads or blues? I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you. I love during the fall, man. I'm going after trophy blues. So
nope.
That's what I'm going after. And Chris, I know Chris is the same way. Pretty much during the fall, he's going to start going after some trophy blues himself. And especially down, I know you're around that Santee River area and stuff like that, man. I would go straight for the blues, brother. And I saw that you asked a question a while ago about the eels. A lot of our bait shops around here sell the eel. I don't go out and try to catch them or nothing like that. So normally a bait shop around our area has them. So that's what I'm getting all my eel from.
1, 2, 3. For the fall fishing, I'll be up at Texoma. I'm going to be using whole sand bass. About 2 pounders. I fillet them down one side. I use the whole fillet with a stinger. Then I use the whole sand bass minus the tail and the fillet missing. Stinger rigged. That's my bait of choice. All right. Tommy says he's upgrading to the Explorer 12 when he can. You'll love it, Tommy. The good thing about it, if you get them now, you got that technology and it's going to be good for about a decade. Because I used my Helix for a decade, and before that, I had an 1197. I used it for a decade. So, Humminbird typically has a major technological advancement about every 10 years. I mean, really, I would have loved to have got the Apex 15 or 19. But hell, those cost more than my first couple of vehicles.
I tell you, man, it's crazy.
Got 3 of them on his boat. They're like $5,500.
That's wild.
I'm like,
that's
damn.
Wild.
But
for the money, Chris, I mean, you're happy with that new one that you've got, though, right? I mean, it pretty much does what you.
Here's the deal: it's the same price as my Helix was 10 years ago. It's not like they've gone up. It's not a cheap unit, but I mean, I got my money's worth. It's justifiable.
Yeah.
Moving from a 10 to a 12, it's justifiable. Moving from a 9 to a 10 is dramatically justifiable. But going from a 9 to a 12, man, I mean, that's night and day.
Yeah.
To me. Because if I graph a lot, I might be on the graph for 2 hours. It's a beating look. I've gone out on my buddies' boats I'll say, I'm not going smaller graph, a 9, and I mean, damn, it's a beating. Yeah. You can't see. You're like, they're like, what do you think? I'm like, well, there's fish here. I mean, I'd like to tell you what they weigh, but hell, I can't tell. I mean, there's fish here.
That's it.
Let's fish it. But with my 12, I can tell you, all right, there's some 50s in the area, you know. I like to catch 50s, so let's fish it. All right. Moving on down. Wesley Grubbs III says he's got a new job. Congrats. Hopefully it allows you to fish more. I know a lot of guys say, oh, I got a new job and I just can't fish as much. I'm like, damn. That's the wrong job.
That's it. Fishing World 123 says, how do you hook a fillet with a stinger rig without the hook turning into the bait, Chris?
All right. It's when I'm using a whole fillet, okay, the back tail piece is pretty hard. Okay, so when you're putting your stinger on, you got one in the nose, the front hook, and then the one in the tail. When you put the one in the tail, let's see here. This is the back of the tail, okay? When you see if I got a hook. You're going to have this deal like this. The stinger is going to be completely out the back of the hook. I mean, out the back of the bait. I don't have a good representation.
Chris, you're going to have to get you one of them cardboard cutout cardboards with the fish.
Let me get something better. Hang on.
Guys, if y'all have any questions, man, keep them coming, man. We love answering them. Fishing World 123 says, I see what you mean, Chris.
All right, this will be better. Here's the back tail piece of, let's say, a drum. Okay, when you put that thing out the back, my back hook is completely out of the bait like this. Okay, my front hook is up here in the nose. 2 completely exposed hooks. If I've got a big bait, and let's say I can only get the hook to here, I'm going to actually trim my bait like that. So when that thing spins around, it's still free. That makes sense. That'll that'll keep your from foul hooking into your bait. Because you'll lose a lot of big fish if you just stick this hook in like this, you're going to lose fish because your hook's going to do that.
Yeah.
And then they're going to come bite the back half of that, and they're not going to be able to get that hook in. So you need that hook exposed. Basically like that. When they come make that injury bite, all they got is metal in their mouth. All right, moving on down.
What's up, Jared? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Stephen Full says that dag glare look Chris gave Action Jacks. He was trying to turn my freaking – he was trying to hit the red X. And he knew what he was doing. He was trying to shut the show down. Damn. Oh, man, you know, Stephen. You know. I'm sure – so Levi's getting up to the age where you don't have to deal with that type of crap. But, man, mine is just now starting to grow out of that. But he's still got a little bit of it left. There's something that a kid like him likes to get a reaction out of dad.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mine used to be
that stuff when I'm busy.
Yep. Mine used to be the same way, man. It's
What's
like
my attention? Even if it's not in a good way, you know, he's going to get dad's attention. Oh, man.
Chris, what are you? I know. What are you doing right now to prep, getting ready for the fall bite? What are you doing right now?
Man, I'm putting all new string on. I got 12 new rods on the way. I'm putting all fresh rigs. I'm upsizing all my hooks. I'm getting my stinger rigs all built out. Everything's fresh and new. Everything is going to be ready to go. Right now, I'm still limping along. I was going to have everything replaced by this next trip, but I'm going river fishing for alligator gar, so I'm going to put it off one more week. I typically in years past, the last 10 years or so, I've waited until I saw the first major front coming. And if it's the major front with like a 20-degree drop in temps and maybe some cold rain coming with it, I'm going to make sure everything's ready because that's going to be the kickoff. It's almost guaranteed that's when it will kick off. But this year, I'm just getting it all done a little early. So there's some big fish.
I know a lot of people I know like yourself, you have a few rods, let's just say that, a few rods. Are you kind of taking some of your bigger, newer stuff right now still with your...
So I got some 12-aught hook stuff, and I'm still running some 8s and 9-aught hooks. So, because I do have some smaller baits on right now. So I'm using I got some baits on like that right now. Those are small to me, a little 5-inch gizzard shad or a fillet off of something a little bigger. I'll use that up until we get that first cold rain event, and then I go everything big. It's like clockwork for us. When we get our first major cool rain event, it's big fish season on. Light switch. Time to start hammering them.
I see James says, I got my butt kicked on Monday. 2 eaters all day. Couldn't figure them out with that east wind.
Oh, man. I had fished the same thing Sunday. Tough conditions. We finally got some things figured out, but it was not easy. Took an ass kicking for about half the day. Not a single bite. We finally moved to a different group and sped up and caught fish consistently. Jared's got the old Helix 7 on the jet. Well, here's the beauty about the 7 when you're alligator gar fishing. You don't need a giant graph to see a fish that's 6-7 feet long.
Yep.
When you see one, even on a 7, you're gonna know. And gar have a super hard armor plate that brings back a bright return. There's no denying when you're around giant alligator gar. They show up on the graph pretty easy.
Fishing World 123. Should I be using 80, 100-pound braid or 30-pound mono when anchor fishing in the river? Brother, I'm going to be honest with you. I've got 30-pound mono on every one of my rods right now with 80-pound leader. I don't have no problems. I really don't. That's my go-to. I use it in the river. I use it on Santee Cooper. I use it on everywhere down there, and I have no problem with it. I don't lose a lot of big fish with that neither. I couldn't tell you the last time I've had my line broke and using 30-pound test and catching big fish. It, I will say with 30-pound, Chris, you probably know, I don't hog wild and jerk on a lot of my bigger fish. I take my time, and normally 99% of the time I catch them with no
30,
problem.
you can control a fish.
Yes.
But I'm not going to sit there and like you said, I'm not going to try to hog time and rustle him,
That's
horse him.
it.
But if you need to turn it, you can put pressure on one
You
and get it.
can't. Yep.
It's not like 80-pound braid where you can rip their head out of a log.
Yeah.
Like you got to. I mean, it's a little different, but it can handle just about any size fish. I'm with you. I like 30-pound mono for most of my fishing.
Yeah.
I do use some braid. I have some anchor rods that I have 80-pound braid on. If I'm up in the sticks where I need to rip it through stuff and I'm constantly hung up on scrub brush and stuff like that, it makes a big difference to have braid. You can rip it. You can rip those bushes right out of there.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm just not a braid type of person.
I don't like braid.
I don't use it. I
use it for gator gar.
Yeah, well,
I use 200-pound braid for gator gar.
There you go. But I'm been mono pretty much my whole life, and it's done me well. Depending on what name brand mono you're using too, there is a big difference in some of the mono out there. I will tell you that. I like the Mad Cat's structure. I'm not saying it because of us with Mad Cats. I love the Mad Cat structure. It's a damn good mono.
I like
really
it
is. I've seen that. I've seen that line do some amazing things. I will tell you that.
I like it myself. That's what I use. 30-pound structure cat mono for Mad Cats. James Edmond says he was on Ray Bob fishing 10 to 30 feet, fished up in the timber near all the gar boiling shad all afternoon. Yeah, James, I drug through that same deal, and I marked a ton of big fish with those gar. And it's typically good for some good. Like when I see that pattern, I'm typically thinking I'm about to do well. But I didn't even get a single bite, not even a gar bite. I don't know why. They did not want what I was offering. They didn't like the way I was presenting it, or they just were laid in the mud. The ones that I saw were laid in the mud. I had to actually find smaller fish to actually put fish in the boat. So I found a group that had 3 to 20 pound fish, and I caught fish out of that group. But the group that I marked really good fish, I didn't even get a nibble. So I do know that when fish are turned off, big fish turn off way quicker and harder than small fish. So I eventually just said, I got to get the skunk off the boat. So I went and found a group that was willing to eat. I had to move just out onto a mud flat. They were feeding on threadfin and 5-inch gizzard shad, 4 to 5-inch gizzard shad, 1-year-old gizzard shad. Lake's full of them. So that's what they were eating. Trent says he can't type tonight.
It looked like he was talking about some mono or something there, Chris. Man.
Oh, man.
Chris, what temp does it usually turn over the lake you're talking about? What temp?
Our lakes turn over in the 70s, and by the time it's into the 60s, it's fish are starting to group back up. And usually in the 70s, but hell, it was in the 90s this year and our lakes turned over in the middle of the summer. We had a real cold, we had a weird tropical storm that moved up from South Texas and when it collided with the cool air, it rained cold. It rained like 80-degree rains, and we'd had like 94-degree lake. It turned over in the middle of summer, which I don't remember it ever doing. It was in July the lake turned over.
Wow.
But it'll do that. When you get about a 15 to 20-degree swing in temperature, that's when the lake's going to turn over. You do need somewhat of an extreme weather event to make it happen. It needs to be a rapid cooling of the surface and then some wind to get it to turn. Usually, a lot of times in Texas, it mixes. We don't actually get a turnover, but when it does turn, the fishing's terrible. Fishing's terrible. You have to, if you can, it typically doesn't turn over all at once unless you have a major freaking cold front that blows through. And if it doesn't all turn over at once, you can move out of the turnover. You can see the turnover on the surface. When you get out of the turnover, there's a clear line where it changes. You can see nasty water to good water. And you'll see fish up in the turnover. They just won't bite. Once you get out of that turnover, you can move 50 feet out of it, and there's fish there, and those fish will be willing to bite. So that's one thing I do. If there is a turnover, I try to get on the line and fish the opposite side of where the turnovers happen.
Is it something to do a lot with the oxygen in the water, Chris, going on, or
it's
what?
The chemistry of the water. For one, yes, it's oxygen, but two, it's the debris that's coming up off the bottom that's decaying, changes the water chemistry, changes the pH. It's got a lot of ammonia that's released, a lot of sulfur, and the fish don't like that crap. It makes them feel bad. It just makes them where they're like, oh, I don't feel good. I'm just going to go lay down till this is over. And you would think they would get out of it, but they won't. They'll be in that. And sometimes the turnover is so bad it can kill fish. It can be that bad. It's a high ammonia, high sulfur, low oxygen. One thing that will help negate it is if you have a big rain event that flushes a bunch of water into the lake. If you can get in that muddy water, that's not turnover water. That's oxygenated, flushed in water. If you can get up in that, out of that turnover, you can catch fish and do well.
That's it.
So, Jeff, gizzard shad had eggs in them in the bait bucket. And yes, we're gonna have another fall spawn. It's going to be bait. I think the catfish are spawning right now. A lot of them are spawning right now. We got 82-degree water temps. I fished 3 weeks ago at 85, and I caught 5 males that were skinny and stunk bad, like they'd been on the nest. So if you have that water temp between 70 and 85 for an extended period, all this stuff's going to spawn again. Shad like to spawn around 70, so they're waiting. They're getting ready to spawn. And if we get a cool rain event, they'll run up in that cool water and they'll spawn. That's why our lakes are so chock full of shad right now. You can't even move 50 feet without a cloud of them. And we haven't had any shad kills either. So last 4 years, I think we're going on, this will be we're going on 3.5 years with no shad kill. We're a very small one. So there's a ton of small shad. There's a ton of small fish. We need guys to come in and harvest some of these little fish, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Guys catching eaters and taking them home. Just leave the big ones. Fish on Marine Electronics. We've been talking graphs tonight, Boskin. That's my installer right there.
Welcome in, brother.
If y'all need electronics in North Texas, head to my boy Boskin's shop at Fish on Marine Electronics. He'll get you set up.
Tell you what, I told last time, I definitely when I get ready to order another one, I'm going to be ordering mine from him for sure. Definitely.
He can freaking problem solve while you're on the lake a lot of times, which is a good thing to have. He's licensed technician for Hummingbird and Minn Kota. He can work on any of them, but good dude to know. Solid dude. Takes care of all my people really good. And he's top notch as far as installing.
See here. See, that's another reason why I like mono, man. It's so much easier to work with. You don't have to worry about a lot of that tangle ups. I mean, man, with the fishing, the lines getting tangled, the mono is so much easier to work with than braid. It really is.
What do you use for bait this fall, Jamie?
Probably I'm going when I go down towards Santee, I'm going to be using probably perch and some shad. So, and I wouldn't count out. I've got a couple of other little baits I like to use in tournaments, but that's my two pretty much go-to baits is the perch and the shad. So,
Austin, I got your net patched, and I'm gonna come pay your girls, give your girls some money too. So I'll bring it in. I was gonna bring it in last week, and I got busy. So we had a tree fall on the damn house. It's knocked holes in the roof, and they come and patched it, and it leaked again. They're gonna have to replace the whole deal. So I've been dealing with that every day. It's a pain in the ass. Still going on, man. I'm like 3 weeks into it.
Normally I buy it when I'm down there. The perch I'll normally catch off the sabiki rigs, but normally I try to buy it. That's not a lot of places down there have it. So yeah, normally I can try to get it around locally here close to Myrtle Beach. A lot of these guys, when they start running, use the nets and stuff. I'll try to buy it straight out the nets from them guys and get it fresh. So I have a couple phone numbers I can call, and as soon as they come right out the nets, they call me up. Hey, I got so-and-so, and I'll run and get a couple. And we'll take them straight down there with us.
I can't even use shad. Our lake's so full of small fish. I had about a 12 or 13-inch gizzard shad, and I cut it up. So we're still using medium-sized baits. I cut it up, and the headpiece, when it come back to the boat, it was nothing but lips. They had chewed the eye, the skull, the
everything.
Plates. Wasn't nothing left but lips.
Wow.
Those little 1 pound blue cats are like piranha, man. There's a
Oh,
gazillion of them in these lakes now.
that's it. And,
Got to put a
and
real boy, like a real stout type fish on for bait.
that's
Fishing
it.
like right now.
I will tell you two fishing word 1, 2, 3. When I'm fishing the river down there, I love the American eel, man. The American eel, when I go down to the Cooper River and places like that, that is my to go to on that Cooper River. Just throwing that out there, brother. So if you can find that American eel down there, I always bring it with me. Grab you some and take it fishing. It works very well down there on that Cooper River.
Wonder if they'd work here. They're native to Texas, but they're endangered, so there's not many of them left. But
I tell you, man, Chris, you know I swear by it. On my rivers, I swear by it, man. One piece will last you all day. You don't have to change it out. That stuff is it's crazy how good it works, man. The blues, they love it. I've caught flatheads off of it, but the blues, it's like crack to them, man. They love it. They really do.
I'm gonna have to get some. I'll keep saying get you to send me some. But yeah, can y'all trap them?
You can, but it's so much easier for me to just drive right to the bait store,
Yeah,
and grab a couple than it is to worry about license and all this and traps, buying traps, because them guys they normally have 3,000 to 4,000 in the tanks up there.
Kenneth Bug says they used to work well on the red below Texoma. I used to catch a few in the cast net when I was a kid. I haven't caught one in 25 years.
Yeah,
We used to catch log perch, ghost minnows. I don't even see ghost minnows in any of the lakes I fish anymore. They're freaking extinct. No log perch. I don't see those anymore. I don't see. I haven't caught an eel in probably 30 years. I think that you need a fairly clean system. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know why they're not here anymore.
and Chris, I used to be able to do the same thing, man. I used to go down to the river just for a regular cork, just a regular throw line for catching bluegill. I used to catch eels all the time, man. And now, even when I throw it on the bottom, trying to catch, little small bait fish and stuff, I used to be able to catch some real good sized eels and stuff. Now, I haven't caught one in probably 2 years. And it's crazy to me, man. I think the catfish are really putting a hurting on the eels. And that's the only thing I can cut because a lot of people they're not going out there just to target them. So I think the catfish are putting a hurting on them.
Jeff says start a petition to get our bait laws changed. I don't know why Texas got such strict bait laws. To me, if you're allowed to take a fish and catch it and use it as fertilizer, why can't you take the same fish and use it as bait? Makes no freaking sense. And some of these fish that I would like to use for bait, there's so many. There's more of them in the lake than there are big gizzard shad. So what the hell?
Chris, Alexander
catch them below Texoma in the river.
Yeah. And I saw where Alexander was saying they had some over at the bait shop at Telwaukene.
Really? That's pretty cool. Well, I'm going to have to give them a whirl. I just don't fish Telwaukene anymore. It got destroyed. That used to be my home away from home for about 15 years. Fishing store tackle has some fresh American eel get shipped in. Do they carry Carolina lake weights, Jamie? Is that one of the stores?
I believe Telwaukene did have some of our stuff down there at one time, brother. I believe so, and I think they it hasn't been too long ago they had some of.
All right. I see they have great bait. I thought, man, I wouldn't even catch bait if I could go to the bait shop like that and just buy it.
that I'm gonna tell you, that's why I love our local bait shops here, man. They know what we like and they normally keep it in stock for us.
Tommy Boy says he caught a few log perch at Twin Groves in spring in the net. They make great bait. I wouldn't dare use it for bait now because they're damn near endangered species. But it's a cool little fish.
I normally like to cut them up, the eel, but I'll tell you the truth, man. I do use them whole also, but when you're using them whole, and I said this a couple of shows back, take. Okay, I'll let y'all know because a lot of people
injure them a little bit because they'd be easy to get away from a fish.
Yes, so that's why I take and I slice on their back, so they can't do all this twisting and turning too much, but they're still able to move around like injured and stuff. So if you don't, I'll tell you the problem you have. They love to twist up around your line and all this and tangle everything up. So take and cut slats in their back so they can't do all that bending and moving the way they normally do, but they'll still be able to, muscle still be able to move around. So that's another one of the techniques I like doing that a lot of people might not do.
Brian Attila says he got some gizzard shad from Texoma and drifted Louisville from the cut to the bridge. Got okay sized blues. Where the bigger blues at on Louisville? I marked a giant group of really big fish out from Pecan Creek all the way over to Oak Grove Ramp. Now, I'm going to tell you that, but they're not going to be there when you go look. Every time I've fished Louisville the last 4 weeks in a row. And every time I have gone, the fish have been miles from where they were the weekend before. Miles. I've probably fished. Every time I've fished, I'm 2 to 3 miles from where I fished the week before. At the very minimum, 1 mile. But generally 1 to 3 miles is where I'm finding fish from the week before. They are just not staying put. They are on the move.
Nice.
Chris James was asked them last week, and the week before I found them north of the toll bridge on the east side, and the week before that I found them on the west side, about a mile from where I found them the week before that. So they were in Graveyard Slough 3 weeks ago. Then last week they were out in front of the yacht club, and then this past week they were out 2 miles north of there from Pecan Creek all the way across to Oak Grove Ramp. And then a month ago, they were back in spot 1. So
they're doing a big circle.
They ain't going to be there, bud. You just got to go find them. When you find them, you'll know, because there's going to be a ton of bait with it, and you'll see a lot of big marks because that group's been staying together. And that I've noticed that group in that section of the lake stays together most of the year. So if you can find them, you'll do well.
James was asking, says, don't beat me up. What is a log perch?
Log perch is a round. It looks almost like the shape of a cigar. They have a tiny little round mouth. They have tiger stripes on them, and they kind of crawl around on the bottom, and their eyes move independently. It's just a crazy cool little fish. They're very rare. I used to catch them a lot when I cast netted when I was a kid. We cast netted for fun, just to see what we would catch. And we catch a lot of log perch, but I don't catch them anymore. I haven't caught a lot. I caught 1 log perch probably in the last 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, holy crap, I caught a log perch. I haven't seen one of these since I was a kid.
Wow.
So that's what it is. It's a little long fish. It's a fish about that long. Kind of walks around on the bottom with its fins. Swims, but perches on logs and stuff, and then has a little round mouth and tiger striped. They're really interesting looking fish. And they do make great bait, because when I was a kid, we caught a lot of big fish off log perch.
I think getting Ethan out for a tournament on Sunday. I need his luck. Well, brother, I hope you do, man. I hope y'all catch him up. Because I know y'all definitely, they've been catching and then Ethan been catching some nice fish also.
Yep, y'all will probably do pretty good. This time of year, you do need a little bit of luck, because you got to get in the right spot. With the bite window is getting longer, so it's not a 3-hour bite window. It's more like a 5-hour bite window in the morning. So you got a little extra time if you're looking, once you find them, to get on them. It's not like burning up your whole bite window looking for fish like most of the summer is here.
Yeah,
I hear a lot of guys say, "Oh, you just can't catch them." I'm like, nobody can, because you got to go find them. By the time you find them, bite window's over. Yep. So you can catch them if you get lucky and stop on where they're at in a 30,000 acre lake where they're constantly moving and they're not in giant groups. But starting about now, they start grouping up. There's a seasonal migration towards the north end of the lake. Even though we haven't had the rain yet or the big cold front, they know it's coming because of the amount of daylight hours. Okay, that's the key right there that guys don't put into their equation. The days are getting shorter. The fish know what's coming. They know there's going to be a change. Even though right now it's gradual, they know that when there isn't a rain event, okay, now that daylight hours are getting shorter, let's start moving up because we know what's coming. And so that's another key factor. It's, the amount of hours in a day, fish know, and they start migrating towards the top third of the lake. So all those fish that were suspended out in deep water all summer chasing threadfin and sand bass and all that, right now all those fish start moving to the north end of the lake, to the top third of our lakes, and start getting ready for the fall transition, which is cold weather events, rain coming into the lake. They stay out in mid-depth. They run up into the shallow water. They move back out to mid-depth. They run. It's just a constant move.
Move.
Yeah. As they like to be comfortable, they like to eat, and they like to spawn. So those are three things that they'll do right now. If it doesn't cool off super fast, they're going to do all that. They're going to probably they're going to spawn again. I'm already getting my buddies that are catching them and keeping them and eating smaller fish saying there's eggs in them. So you give that long enough, they'll do that again. And same with the gizzard shad and threadfin. So
that's it. Fishing World 123. It is not a SLCC tournament that I will be in. It's one that Canal Lakes is putting on, so it is a different tournament.
Dustin Clark, he's out there hammering them fish with Creole. Nice work, boys. Catching 80s and 70s and 60s and 50s. Gordon David Phillips says, facts. Tex Cajun says, do you all recommend a brand of taped net? I like the Phytech 11970. They're very hard to get. I actually changed nets because I couldn't get the 5/8 mesh. So I don't know the product number on that, but I got this round. I got a Phytech. It's still a 7-foot taped, but I got the 1/2 inch, and it was like half the price as the 5/8. I think I paid $90 Hit me up on Messenger and I'll tell you where I got it from. Text. Vess says, "Sup, Slimers? Welcome in, Vess."
What's up, Vess?
Vess is up in Oklahoma looking for a fishing spot.
Oh, man.
Too deep to target on Lake Moultrie, Jamie.
What would I
also heard people say they would never fish more than 30.
Honestly, brother, right now what I'm looking for is probably in between anything from 5 to 25 range. Probably right now on Lake Moultrie. It won't be long. The fish are going to start coming up a little bit shallow, but right now I'm going to be targeting from 5 foot all the way down around 25 on the ledges.
That's the same with us.
Yeah. So it normally this time of year normally works real well. I'm not hitting deep water, anything over 25. Well, anything around 30 and deeper, I'm not hitting this time of year down there. So 25 to up is what I recommend off of those ledges and stuff on Moultrie. And I know there's a lot of different opinions and stuff out there. There's a lot of people that might have some other opinions, but for myself, from the past, that's what I'm targeting the depth in the water right now in Moultrie.
I'd agree. And if we get a big rain event, they'll move real shallow.
Yep.
Up to 2 feet. But not all lakes are the same, man.
That's it.
I have to take some of them fish 80 feet when I'm in 2 feet in any of our other lakes.
And see, Chris, it all depends on the time of day, too. I have found on Moultrie or Marion, certain time of the day, the fish are holding in certain depths of the water. So once you get to know that pattern, you could be up in 2 to 6 foot, say from 7 in the morning to 10, and then next thing you know, from 10 to 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you're fishing 25 foot of water.
Yeah.
So get to know the range. And
I've noticed most of our lakes, right after it turns over, I can catch them between 3 feet out to about 25 feet.
Yep.
On damn near any of our lakes. You go to Texoma, you better throw all that crap out the window because they're going to be in 50 to 80 feet. As soon as it turns over, they freaking go deep.
That's it.
I don't know why it's so different on that lake, but, you can catch them on a threadfin pattern or shallower, but for whatever reason, the really good ones, they go deep.
And that's some of the lake, Chris, I've gone up to here in Columbia, South Carolina, up in the upper state. I've gone to, and I'm not fishing nothing shallower than 40 foot of water. I'm from 40 foot down to 60 foot that I'm fishing on a lake up in Columbia. So that's the difference in between, like you were just saying, in on lakes and stuff, man.
Guys always ask me, why is it so different? I wish I knew. I don't know. I mean, typically blue cat behavior is fairly predictable. They typically, most of these lakes fish fairly similar, but certain ones just fish completely different.
That's it. And certain times of the year, man, you got to know their patterns on summer times. Moultrie, I'm gonna change it up a lot in the summertime. I'm gonna totally go deeper. It's weird how it works. Let's see if I've missed anybody. I like dragging.
Wheeler says I fish 40 to 70 in the winter for trophy channel. That's what I fish for blues, 40 to 70 typically. A little deeper sometimes. But 40, I would say in the winter, that's about the depth, and sometimes even a little bit shallower.
Yeah. It's weird how different lakes are.
California.
I like dragging the humps and the heels and the shallow. Man, I'm going to tell you, I do too, my friend. And the points. I mean, don't forget about those points.
If I'm dragging shallow, I'm typically in stump fields.
Yeah. That's it.
I like stump fields if I'm shallow. I like inlets where there's washed in trees and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yep.
that. I like to be right up where there's water coming in if I'm shallow.
Those runoffs
right on the tree line, where
Yep.
there's submerged timber sticking out of the water. I like that kind of stuff. And then
those runoffs, man, hold a lot of fish.
Creek channels.
That's it. That's it. That is for sure.
Dragging humps, I'm typically in mid depth. I drag a lot of humps in mid depth, looking for white bass and stuff feeding on that type of structure.
Yeah,
they typically like 25 to 15 foot mid depth structure.
And I'm gonna say
drag that stuff.
That's it. And I'm gonna say this: when I'm out catching perch on Lake Moultrie, what depth of water am I in catching a lot of perch? I'm gonna automatically try a lot of that depth of water because I have found it. Depending on depth that I'm catching a lot of the perch, I can almost say that's where the catfish are going to be holding that a lot of times. A lot of people overlook.
Science is it?
A lot of people overlook simple stuff like that, man. So if I'm in 10 foot and I'm tearing the perch up, or I'm in 20 foot and I'm tearing them up, okay, I'm gonna kind of start around what I'm finding the depth I'm catching a lot of perch in, because normally I have found that it works very well. It really does. So
gonna be a multitude of patterns that you can fish.
That's it.
Okay. So Jamie's got perch. You can fish perch.
Yep.
Y'all got crappie?
We are not allowed to use those here in South Carolina.
I'm not saying whether you can use them.
Oh,
do you have crappie?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fish a crappie pattern. Where are the crappie?
Yep. That's it.
Where those crappie are at.
That's it.
There's always going to be fish keying in on those crappie year round. So if you got white bass, do y'all have white bass?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you got white bass, there's going to be fish that key in on white bass year round.
That's it.
If you got threadfin shad, there's going to be certain fish that key on those, typically smaller fish. If you got big gizzard shad, you're going to have fish that like to key in on gizzard shad, and you can fish around those. Now, fishing around gizzard shad, there may be hybrids, striper, also feeding on those, and the giant fish might be feeding on the game fish that are feeding on the gizzard shad, whatever. So
that's it.
There's going to be a variety of patterns, and one that I like to fish is the gar pattern. They like to eat buffalo and carp that are about this long. So if you can find a bunch of gar feeding on carp, another great pattern. So
that's it. Simple stuff like that.
One pattern's not working, but you know how to find these other fish. You can go fish a different pattern.
Oh yeah.
On any given day, there's going to be more than one pattern. There will be a predominant pattern where the majority of them are keyed in on a certain deal because the activity that's going on draws more fish to it. But if that doesn't work and you're pretty good at finding crappie or gizzard shad or white bass or even black bass, hell, bluegill. If you're finding bluegill, you can go fish around where they're at and do well.
Normally, Chris, I can tell you, I can find 3 patterns per trip. Normally, I can find 3 good patterns per trip that the catfish should be at.
I agree with that.
Because of the time, I normally don't have more time to go after more patterns than 3 to give it a good chances. But normally 3 good patterns that I can find per day, and then use it to my advantage. So a lot of guys get stuck on one pattern. Some guys overthink it and try to do way too much. But man, it's really not that hard. It really isn't. And once you find the pattern of the crappie, the bluegill, the perch, or whatever, you're going to normally find a pattern for catfish.
There's also a biomass pattern where you'll see groups of fish of different species working synergistically as a unit to hunt bait fish. So in a certain area, you'll see crappie, black bass, white bass, hybrids, all together, working together with catfish around them to predate fish. So if you find the biomass, to me, that's the best fishing pattern there is, because there's just so much activity and there's so much injured fish around it that it's almost a guarantee that you're going to do well.
That's it.
Here's the thing. That's a hard pattern to find for a lot of guys. So
yeah.
When they see me fishing they're like, how do you know? How do you find that? I'm like, I've gone from one end of the lake until the other end of the lake scanning so many times year round. I just got an idea where the biomass is. It's 10% of the fish. It's 90% of the fish in 10% of the lake. If you find that 10% of the lake, you can fish for whatever you want. They're all going to be there.
That's it. That's it. Quick question. Question I've been wondering lately: when fishing a big lake, is it worth it to also try fishing near the banks and stuff? I usually just fish in the open water. Is it worth it to drag the edge of the?
Oh, dude, that's a huge. I use the shoreline contours a lot, and I don't see a lot of other guys doing it dragging. I see guys just out on the flat. I mean, just get on the flat and fish.
Yeah,
that ain't me, man. I tip for really to catch bigger fish. They typically orient to structure. You can still catch them out on the flat, but if you're going the best fish of the day, even if you're fishing on a flat and you accidentally drag across a piece of structure like a hump, a point, a drop off into the channel, that's where you catch your biggest fish. And over time, I've learned to try to target those areas specifically rather than stay out on the flat where all these smaller fish are out on a roam feed. What's close to that flat where all those fish are feeding that is a high value real estate where something giant's going to just lay there because it's easy. It's easy to lay on that thing and feed. That's how I've become a better angler. Target that structure in a specific way. So if let's say the magic depth for that day is 17 feet. Okay. If there's wind blowing, look in that area where you're seeing all those fish in 17 feet out on a flat. Now, what is in that area that's in 17 feet that is a piece of structure?
Yeah.
Is there a hump? Is there a channel? Is there a point? Is there a shoreline contour that's blowing onto that? If you can move to any of those in that same area, if you can move to any of those and drag that, your big fish will pick, and your big fish numbers will skyrocket compared to just staying out there on the flat. You move over there to that point that's in the same depth, and you're going to find the fish are going to be bigger on that point. They're going to be bigger at the bottom of that shoreline contour, right there where bait fish have to change to go up. Right there, the fish just has to wait, and as soon as that thing changes, they eat it.
That transition right there, man, is everything, man. Right where it goes from this, starts doing like that, man. That transition is everything.
Could be a stump, could be a multitude of things, but it's what I call high value real estate. It's just an area that the bigger fish don't have to swim around on a roam feed. They park their fat ass there and wait for the things to swim by, and then they just open their mouth and suck it in.
That's it. Chase, 5 to 15 foot of water in wintertime down there, man, on Santee. Man, that is a beautiful thing. You're right. That especially early in the morning, that 5 to 10 foot range early in the mornings, that is sweet down there on Santee, brother. But Santee, with all the humps, the points and stuff, there's so much to choose from down there. it's I know it's a decent sized lake, but it's just loaded with humps and points, transitions and stuff like that, and there's so much to choose from. And that's where getting to know the pattern of those fish, where they're at on that lake, is really important, man, to save you a lot of time. But yeah, 5 to 15 foot water in the winter is beautiful down there. Chris, when making your stinger rigs, how much line do you use between the swivel and the brute?
The swivel and the brute. I'm typically about 30 inches.
Yeah.
I do make where I can slide the brute up and down so I can get my stuff closer to the bottom on a no wind, high pressure day.
Yeah. I found out, Chris, I know you know we do a lot of rigs like that. We've talked where we can adjust those rattles and stuff, man. To me, that's been a very important part of making a rig very very usable, not just having it where it's stuck in one position. Being able to take that thing and move it where you,
typically 30 inches is good. But on
yes.
certain days they want it, they're laying in the mud. You want it, they won't chase it. They just, it's easy. It's better to get it down there by their face.
Yep.
Man, I'm dragging, Jimmy. I'm dragging with stingers. I'm dragging. I'm trying to hit things like a bend in a channel, a tip of a point, edge of a levee, a bend in the levee, a little hump, a stump field. 30 inches from swivel to hook. I go 30 inches to my demon dragon, to my float. From my hook, it's about 4 inches, maybe 5 tops. But so my rigs are about 34 inches long. What that's going to help you do is when you are in the stumps, it'll help you from getting snagged up so much that you got your stuff up off the bottom. But I've tried shorter, I've tried longer. I've settled on 30 inches. That's just what I like.
Yeah.
It's what works for me. And then mine are adjustable, so I can get my stuff close to the bottom if I need it to be. It's about to be on, boys. We're about to start making people real mad at us.
We're used to that, brother.
What size weights are you dragging? I typically drag a 2 ounce, Brian. If I'm in 50 foot of water or more, I drag a 3 ounce. If I'm in high wind, 25-mile-an-hour wind, I'll drag a 3 ounce. But typically in a lake, I'm 90% of the time I'm dragging a 2 ounce. I'm in the lake, so.
Yeah, normally, even like when I'm fishing Santee Cooper, guys, I'm normally never using anything over a 3 inch or a 3 ounce. Normally, it's mainly a 2 ounce, but like Chris was saying, in high wind days, rough water, I will step up to a 3 ounce, but normally I'll never use a 4 ounce down there.
Brian, I do not guide on Louisville, but I have fished that lake my whole life. I'll fish circles around any of the guides on that lake. You'll notice there aren't too many trophy fishermen that can fish that lake. It's a tough lake for trophy catfish. I got it dialed in just because I fished it for so long. I think that's probably one of the reasons it's made me such a great angler, because that's a tough ass lake. If you go catch good fish, if you catch big fish on Louisville, you can go anywhere in Texas and do well. So if you need help for Louisville, Brian, you just let me know. I'm willing to help you. I'll tell you where I think they're going to be. I don't fish it a whole lot anymore. I typically travel fish a lot, but I will fish. I still do fish it. It's just there's not a lot of really good fishing. Now, I mean, my son and we've caught giant fish out of Louisville. They're there. They're just not very many of them. So it's got a ton of eaters. If you want to catch fish, it's easy to catch little ones. But to catch big ones, you better be pretty damn good on the graph and be willing to move a lot looking for them. Most guys just aren't willing to do that. Well, Brian, come say hello. If you see us anytime, come say hello. Me and my son, we probably not going to fish it much anymore after last weekend. He caught 220s and we caught 15 eaters, which considering the conditions was pretty good. I was happy with the results, but it was a lake of glass. Fishing was tough. Took us a while to find good fish. When we found them, they didn't want to bite. But feel free to hit me up. I know the lake as well as anyone. I can generally give you 3 or 4 areas where I think they'll be any time of the year, and they'll be there. Just got to go find them. So I'm actually going to hit the river, Jimmy, this week. I'm going to go fish with JT Tuberville. We're going to go hit the Trinity for alligator gar. One last session. See if we can catch some 7-footers. After that, I'm going to go to Texoma, and then I'll hit Lavon. Make the rounds around North and East Texas. May try to go fish with William Oliver one more session. If he can find time to fish with me. Jamie Dunn.
It's that time to start putting some miles on the trucks, man.
It's about time to start hurting some feelings, isn't it?
It's about that time, brother. It's about that time. I know I'm excited, ready to get back out there, ready to head south, head to Santee. So we might head down there next weekend. Like I said, we got a tournament down there on the 11th. I need to get back down there, do a little looking around, and so we'll probably be heading down there. I might head down there Friday. I don't know yet. So ready to go, man. Got the boat ready. Got everything greased up, bearings ready to roll. So we'll see.
Richard says Chris is looking for bigger fish, 50 to 60. I can catch some 50s out of Louisville. They're just few and far between. We've caught 60s. My son got a 72.5. I got a 70. Both lake records. It's just there's not very many fish like that. And, I mean, there's not very many fish like that anywhere in Texas, but there's just very few in Louisville. If you're catching a 40 in Louisville, you're actually doing something. There's just not a lot of big fish. You could fish that lake all year and maybe catch one or two 50s the whole year, every freaking trip. I can go to other lakes and get a 50 every trip. And I can go to Lavon and get one damn near every trip. I can go to Texoma and get one about every third trip with a shot at catching a 60, 70, 80. But Louisville is just a tough lake. You got to really go find fish. It's not like, I'm going to get up where they should be and go drag and catch some. It'll kick your ass. Trent knows. He used to fish Louisville. I got some of my guide buddies. They're like, Man, I've been watching your lives. I just wanted to see where you're catching these big fish. I've been guiding this lake my whole life. I didn't even know there's fish like that.
Wow.
They're like, I noticed you're fishing in areas I've never even fished. I said there might be something to that because a lot of these guys fish the same area just over and over and over, and those fish have seen a million hooks.
It's a safe thing for them, man. When they got people on the boat, it's a safe thing to go, and catch a couple, eaters and stuff like that. I know a lot of guys, around here, they do the same thing. They go to, but like how you're doing it, man, it's just getting away and doing that own thing, and you're catching the big ones.
Yeah.
And
sometimes it's good to go your own way. You don't have to fish like other people do.
No. Figure out your own ways, man. Figure out what works best for you. You've said it 1,000 times.
I've noticed when I travel fish, there's not anybody fishing around me other than the guys that follow me.
Yeah.
I'm not in the area it's not anybody around me that fishes that lake.
That's it.
I like that. I like to think I'm doing something different than they are. I think that's why it probably works, because they get stuck in their habit of what they think should be, and I just kind of go off what my graph shows me.
I've always said, man, you can beat a place up way too much. You can beat it up and get used to that certain pattern day after day after day.
Just go to the same 7 spots.
Yeah. Don't get stuck in that pattern, man. I tell people all the time, even on the river, do not get stuck in a pattern where you're beating a place up over and over and over. Don't be afraid to go to other new places. Myself, I always 9 times out of 10 are going to different places, because the fish that I might have found in that spot the weekend before or the day before probably ain't going to be there the next day.
West Texas Cat Addict says, wanting to get my PB up, ready to hit up Texoma. Any recommendations December through February? I'll be dragging. Well, you're going to be typically in December, I'm going to be somewhere out around the Y. So that's where the Ouachita meets the Red River. I'm going to be somewhere around there typically. Now, you may be on top of one of the flats. You may be on the ledge. You may be in the river channel. You may be all the way north, 10 miles north. It's a freaking massive lake. So there is not a real area. It helps to have a little intel of what the fish have been doing depth-wise, and then go kind of track them down on that specific day that you go. It's probably one of the harder lakes to figure out, but that's the way I fish it. I try to get a little bit of info from my buddies on what depths that they've been the week before, and then when I get out there, I just go look. I'm looking on the ledges. I'm looking on the deep river channel flats. There's an endless amount of it. You typically can find them in a specific depth on that lake. Going to be a ton of bait around. And usually it's a 2D game if you're fishing that deep. So you just got to get on the 2D. You got to see whether they're on top of the ledge, on the flat, on the ledge, or at the bottom of the ledge. That lake can be great. It can also kick your ass. So hit me up when you're about to go, and I'll see if I can get some info from you. Justin Cox has produced a 101 on the Oklahoma side last week. Todd Barnes says, what's up?
What's up, brother?
Fish with JT Catfish Kid. JT got him a giant flathead in the process. Like y'all had a good old time.
It did, man. It looked like they had a good time.
Yeah. Richard Green says, put the worm in the water and hang on.
Oh man, that's it, brother. Don't know until you put it in the water, man.
Yes, sir. Well, Jamie, anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
Man, I just want to say I'm glad to see everybody back with us tonight, man. Had a good time like always. I saw we had a big crowd in here tonight. Appreciate everybody with all the questions and stuff. I mean, we love it. And we can't wait until next Wednesday to do it all over again. But just want to say, brother, appreciate everybody always supporting, man.
Yep.
Love what y'all guys are doing, man. Keeping it positive, and just appreciate all the good feedback, man.
We'll say thank you to SmackDown Catfishing for
Yep.
outfitting the War Machine with a brand new freaking full boat set of bright green SmackDown rod holders. Awesome, Peter. Appreciate you, bro. I didn't see him in here tonight, but
I think
really
they shared
cool.
this out, Chris, on Facebook tonight. I believe I saw where they shared this out there, man. We always appreciate SmackDown for sharing this out for sure.
Say thank you to Mad Cats. They got me 12 rods on the way of a brand new rod coming out on the market called the Legacy Edition. Been waiting to get that set of rods since April.
Man.
Some manufacturing issues, but I guess they got them ironed out, and I got me a set on the way, baby.
I can't wait to see them, brother. Can't wait to see them. And I also want to send a big shout out to Catfish Clothing. Appreciate y'all guys for what y'all doing over there, and can't wait to get some more goodies shortly.
Say thanks to Jamie because we caught some fish on the Big Kitty Buzz rig this past weekend, and pretty much every trip we're catching them on that rig.
Yeah.
So.
That rig has really been a popular one, man. It's been a hard one to keep in stock. And I want to say, man, we just sent out another order of 272 rigs this week. Appreciate the love, guys.
Damn.
So that was one big order. I mean, it's crazy, man. We're definitely growing and growing. So appreciate all the love to everybody. And Todd, y'all guys, man, good seeing y'all guys. Appreciate y'all coming in and supporting us. And Jimmy, the knives, man.
Oh, damn, Jimmy.
Love them knives, brother.
Some more knives coming. So we'll be giving away some bait knives, some custom badass Amarillo Knife Works bait knives.
That's it. I'm getting me a couple of those bait knives ordered up coming my way. So appreciate everything he does for us also, brother.
Thank you, Parks Planer Boards, Kevin Parks, for sponsoring the show, for taking care of me, taking care of Jackson. And tight lines, God bless.
Appreciate y'all. Later, y'all.